All right, welcome to the High Point University Athletics Coaches Show. I'm Kevin McMahon. Sometimes I try to do my job right. It is presented by the good folks over at Segra. We also want to thank Sweet Old Bills for having us. And we're getting started hot here. We have Coach Zach Haines from the High Point men's soccer team with us. So nice round of applause for Coach Zach Haines. Thank you. All right, Coach. Thanks for joining us today. You have practice here in about 20 minutes, so we'll get you done quick. But thanks for joining us. How you doing?
I'm doing great, Boom. How you doing?
I'm doing fantastic. Other than that blunder, it was great.
You seem like you're doing great.
Thank you. I want to talk about you entering your second season. You guys ended in your first season with a Big South Championship appearance, and then getting ready for the fall, and then it gets put on delay. Walk me through having to deal with all that stuff.
It's been a challenge, obviously, and we've done the best we can. There's not much you can control in all this, so you try to be adaptable. You try to make sure that you're always putting the student athletes first and knowing that it's going to be hard on them, and we just have to keep looking ahead towards brighter days. And you know, I think for us, the group is so strong and the leadership's so strong that we've taken advantage of the time we have together. We were able to train the entire fall, so from a development standpoint, from a preparation standpoint, we feel like we did a lot to improve the group and to continue to reinforce the type of culture and environment that we want to promote here with High Point men's soccer. And of course, there's days where they just want to go and play another opponent, and there's times where they're missing that competition aspect. But they did an unbelievable job from August through now of continuing to look ahead, continuing to be excited about the future, you know, keeping the faith and making sure that they don't lose an opportunity to get something out of the time that we have together. So it's full credit to the players and my staff for making sure that we were able to keep that focus and that work ethic.
What are some ways you were able to keep the guys involved and engaged? You said you know they've had great engagement from August to now. What are some things you guys did as a staff to keep them engaged and ready to play here in a few days?
We were always open and honest with them about the state of things, and always made sure that we clued them in on the communication and kept them up to date with everything that was happening. So we tried to minimize that uncertainty, and along with that, we tried to make sure that they saw it as an opportunity. So with the season being canceled in the fall, hope to play in the spring, we challenged them as, you know, this is a 4-month training block to improve your game individually and for us to improve collectively. And they took that on board. We empowered the leaders in our group to make sure that they were obviously sending the same message in the locker room. And then we tried to be creative as far as training went. We would make sure that we balance things out from some days are going to be very high intensity, very competitive. Some days are going to be fun. They're going to be a little bit loose, a little bit lighter. And then we tried to put in a lot of inter-squad games, competition points on the line, different things we could do to make sure that they were still trying to maximize everything they brought to training every single day. And like I said, they did a wonderful job with it, and we have a huge amount of credit to give to our team for that.
How ready to go are you and your guys for the upcoming game this weekend? I mean, it's been over a year since you guys have gotten to play. How ready are you guys to go?
Oh, they can't wait. It's the excitement level is off the charts, and there's also that cautious optimism as well, because they know that things can change in an instant. But as far as the excitement levels to play a game and to compete again, the group has been ready for a long time, and they've put a lot into this as well. They had a fantastic fall, as I mentioned, and then they went home for winter break, 6 weeks, longest winter break we'll ever have. And they didn't just rest and relax and hope for the best. They made sure they prepared. They came back. They're the fittest team I've ever had in college soccer since I've been in college soccer in terms of their fitness testing numbers when they came back. So they took it very seriously. And then for the last 4 weeks, they've taken this preseason as seriously as I could imagine in hopes of playing game 1 on February 14th. So they've done all the right things. The attitude, the excitement level in training has been unbelievable. And yeah, I mean, they would play today if they could, but we've got to wait till Sunday.
How proud does that make you as a coach? You guys come back fully in shape. You said one of the most in shape groups you've ever had. What is your feeling when you're looking at the results of the fitness test and you're, oh my God, these guys can really go?
Yeah, it's the proudest I've been of any team I've worked with, and I've been fortunate to work with a lot of great teams. And it's the proudest I've been is because it's the most adversity and the biggest challenge that any team I've ever been around has faced with COVID. And the last game they played was in November of 2019 in terms of actual competition. And then we did have a couple spring games pre-COVID in February, March. So it's been 11 months, 14 months between games. And so the idea of student athletes being able to continue to be focused, continue to be driven and ambitious and motivated, and doing it at the level they have for that period of time, yeah, I mean, we couldn't be prouder as a staff because that says a lot about them as human beings, not just as players.
A special thing you guys got to do this fall was you had 3 seniors who decided to graduate early and do what was right for them. They have, law school or medical school in the future or a job or whatever, and so they were unable to play this spring, but you guys were still able to honor them with a senior night during a scrimmage. Why was that so important to you guys?
Yeah, Danny Shaheen, George Ekdahl, and Deco Bradley, they were amazing servants to the program. These kids are close to 4.0. Danny Shaheen, 4.0 every single semester. SAC representatives, contributors on the field, off the field, in the community. They were model student athletes during their time, and they put themselves on track to graduate in 3.5 years by taking a full load of summer school classes last summer. So when it came down to it and the season was canceled in the fall, that was meant to be their final crack at it, they went ahead with their plans. As much as they wanted to stick around and play their final senior season, they had too much going in terms of their future and everything they had lined up, job opportunities, grad school opportunities. So the absolute least we could do is honor them in the best way we could, which was to do an inter-squad game, but to do it properly, put it on ESPN Plus, have the announcers come in, do all the senior night presentations beforehand, put the kits on, and it was a great event. We had a lot of fun with it, and I think the guys really appreciate it, and hopefully it's something they'll remember for a long time. But it's no more than those guys deserve. They're wonderful kids, and they're definitely missed for sure.
I know what your answer is going to be to this, so bear with me. But I want you guys in the top drawer soccer, top 25, your receiving votes. Considered one of the best teams in the country in that top 30. What can we expect from your group this year?
You can expect that they're going to be prepared and that they are going to bring their best every single day. We don't know what's going to happen. We don't know how it's going to look in game 1. We've obviously been off for a long time. There's going to be mistakes. There's going to be nervous energy. There's going to be a lot of excitement, tons of emotions, but they will work hard and they will compete, and they're also going to bring their best, like I said. So it's a group that's driven, it's a group that's motivated, it's a group that's ready to compete, and they're also ready to take the program on to another level. They know that in 2019 it was a very good season by all accounts. Anytime you win 13 games, you're going to be proud of a lot of aspects of the season, but they know that they're capable of more, and they're capable of truly reinforcing High Point men's soccer as a top 25 program in the country and an NCAA tournament team. Now this season's going to be a little different. It's shortened, it's abbreviated, it's less games, but there's still 3 championships to play for, and I can tell you they're going to be prepared and they're going to work for it.
Can you tell us about some of the new faces on your team this year? You have some transfers and some new guys that we need to know about. Who are they?
We do. We have some guys that we're excited about. We have a lot of returners that we're excited about, but as far as the new guys go, Sebastian Chilbot is a transfer. He's going to be an attacking midfielder for us. He's a former Venezuelan youth international, U20 international, a very talented player. We're expecting big things from him. Mcrobb is from Celtic, the top club in Scotland, year in and year out, played with their reserves. He's a left center back that we feel like is going to help us right away. And then we've got a lot of other new guys that have been with the program. Ricky Ceballos came over from Akron, Mason Marcy from Valparaiso, who's one of our 2 captains, so he's made an incredible impression in the year he's been with us to be one of our 2 captains along with Carson Kendall. And then other guys that came in as true freshmen, Cooper Linfeltz from California has been great, Eric Miller, I could go on down the line, but the ones that came in with that experience in Division I, Mason, Ricky, and Sebastian, those guys, you have a little bit of an idea what you're going to get because they've done it at this level. Whereas with freshmen, you're always, you're seeing that transition, and they've made it well. But the likes of Seba and Mason, we feel really strong that they're going to be able to help us right away.
one of the few things going on this summer when when sports were coming back, one of the few things going on was pro soccer, and there were 8 pro Panthers playing. What can you say about those guys and what that does for your program?
We're proud of them. It's a credit to what they did with High Point when they were here to be able to earn the opportunity to play at the next level. It's something that we try to make a huge part of what we do as far as helping guys meet their ambition. If they have those aspirations, we want to give them the tools to develop while they're with us. We want to be able to give them the exposure and the experience at playing, the top competition in the country and hopefully being successful along with that. But they have to come in and do well as part of a collective at High Point to excel individually and ultimately be able to earn those opportunities. And the guys this past class, they obviously did that in spades. Bolanos, Keegan, so on and so forth. And we want more. We want guys to be able to reach those levels by playing at High Point and being a quality student athlete here. Now, that's not the end-all be-all. We obviously want to set guys up to be pro soccer players as often as we can, but we have to make sure that they're ready for everything after that too. So it's one of those things that we do promote it, we do get excited about it, but we make sure that's not all we talk about as a program because we don't feel like that's just us.
And one of those pros is Johnny Fennick, and he's here with you right now.
Yes, Johnny Fennick, we are thrilled to have him on staff with us until he heads off for preseason. He is coming off of a great season with Las Vegas Lights in the USL Championship. He's now been in the pro ranks for 2 years. He was an All-American at High Point, I believe first in program history, and he was a 3-year captain and just an unbelievable student athlete for High Point, one of the greatest of all time. Now he's a pro here in the States, and his preseason, because of how everything has come around, he is actually starting preseason in March. So we were able to bring him on board for a spring season to get some experience as our director of operations, and he's been awesome. He's been great to have around the guys. What he brings more than anything is experience of having done it at High Point as a leader. So he's able to meet with our leadership group, our captains, and impart a ton of wisdom and experience with them and knowledge. So yeah, he's been invaluable. We're thrilled to have him. He's an unbelievable kid.
As we wrap up here, I know you got to go to practice. Does anyone have a question for Coach? If you do, raise your hand. If not, I have one more, then I'll let you get out of here. But my question is, talk to me quickly about the schedule you guys have here. I know it's as every sports schedule has. It's changed a lot. There's been a lot of concerns about all of them, but we have a schedule, and talk to me about it a little bit.
It could be changing right now, to be honest.
It could be changing right now?
No idea. But no, we have a game on Sunday. We originally was scheduled to have Elon. Unfortunately, they had to cancel, so we were able to pivot, and looks like it's going to be Leeds McRae is the plan. And so we're excited to host them in the same time slot and same day. Then moving on non-conference, we're looking at Davidson and Liberty, so some good mid-major regional opponents. And then we'll play our conference slate, try to compete for a championship as far as the regular season goes, and then conference tournament, NCAA tournament. So everybody is playing less games, everybody's playing an abbreviated season, but there's still tons to play for, and our guys know that, and I'm as excited as I could be about the schedule. Yeah, sure, it's different, but it's games, and we're ready to go.
Coach, thanks for coming. Good luck.
Thanks, Boom.
Thank you. Coach Zach Haines, everybody. What's up, Coach?
What's up with you?
How you doing?
I'm doing great. Yourself?
I'm doing well. So we have Jodi Kest here with us from women's basketball. They have practice too, so I'll be sure to get you in and get you out of here. But
Appreciate that.
And if you have any questions for Jodi as we get going, raise your hand. We'll go to you. But Jodi, I want to talk to you real quick about yourself, and then we'll get to the team. I know you said you want to talk about the team, but I want to ask you one question about yourself. You were a head coach for a long time at Akron, over 400 wins as a head coach, and now you're an assistant for High Point. As you wrapped up your career at Akron, what made High Point the right choice to come over here and do this?
Well, mostly it was, number one, the opportunity to work with Chelsea. I've known her and the coaching staff at Florida Gulf Coast for many years. If you can't beat them, then you might as well join them. So I love their system, and for the opportunity to learn from her and learn their system was just an opportunity of a lifetime. And then obviously coming to High Point and the reputation that High Point has had academically as well as athletically, to me, it was a no-brainer.
This year, High Point went on a 10-game win streak. You know that. You're aware.
I was there. Yeah,
You were there.
I was there.
Have you ever won 10 games in a row like that with any of your other teams?
We have.
Yeah, so you get it. You're just winning. When you show up, winning happens. Is that what you're saying?
No, I mean, it's been a great ride for us. I mean, Coach is really good about, I don't even think Coach really knows what our record is. It's always about one drill at a time, one practice at a time, one game at a time. And all we look at is tomorrow's practice, tomorrow's game. And so the only thing on our mind right now is Radford. Obviously for the kids, it's been a great ride. Coach is really big on preparation, meets opportunity, and we're always prepared for every team that we play. We can't control all those variables that are happening right now with COVID and with change of schedules. And I think Coach has done an excellent job of just preparing our kids for today. And right now we're just worried about Radford.
What's it like being on her staff? What's day-to-day like? And, I know you guys work hard, but I know you guys work to keep it light too, keep it fun.
Yeah, Coach is great. She's very, very patient. I was not a very patient head coach, and I was a screamer and a yeller. And Coach has been great with the kids. Like I said, she's not one who's going to get mad very often, and she's very easy around the office to work for. She just wants you to do your job. Obviously, we all have different responsibilities. It's all about the team, and like I said, it's been an enjoyable 2 years so far.
We will get to Radford, but you had 2 wins over Charleston Southern. And can you break down those wins for us?
Well, for us, it's always been, again about us and not Charleston Southern. We shot the ball extremely well, and as you know, we play 5 out. And if we shoot the ball well, most of the time we're going to beat the opponents that we play. And I think our kids came in prepared. I thought Brittany Brown did a great job of her scout for that game. And again, we were prepared, and the kids shot the ball well. We play hard. I think right now our kids are understanding the roles. We have a starting 5 right now, but we also know those young ladies that are all coming off the bench mean a lot to our program. And so it's been really fun. The kids are not cocky, they're not overconfident, but they understand that they got to come ready to play every day, because right now, leading the conference, you're always going to get everybody's A game.
Do you take extra pride in the wins over Charleston Southern, knowing that it helped keep Chelsea's record against pirate opponents sparkling?
I don't even think that we even know that. It's just another win in the conference, regardless if it's Charleston Southern, if it's Campbell, if it's Upstate. We just want to beat the team that's in front of us and not worry about behind us or in front of us.
It's a good answer, Coach. I was trying to get you to break a little bit, but you're locked in.
I've been in this business a few years.
Yeah, you're locked in. You can teach me a few things. High Point swept the Big South Player of the Week awards this week with Skyler and Claire. We'll start with Claire. What do you see from the freshman this year?
Well, she's amazing. I had the opportunity to work with her over the summer. Just a very smart young lady, very coachable, understands the game, understands about angles, continues to get better at every practice and every game, always has a smile on her face, and I think she's been at least, twice maybe the freshman of the week, and possibly, hopefully, freshman of the year. So she's a pleasure to coach, just like all the other kids, but every day is a smile on her face.
And then Skyler Kerr, another Player of the Year, or Player of the Week award, excuse me. What can you say about her play this week and then as you see the season?
Right. I mean, obviously, she's our leading scorer, leading rebounder, a great leader for us. And because she was preseason pick for Player of the Year, she's going to get everybody's opponent's, best defender. And I think for a lot of people, it's a lot of pressure for anybody to have. But I think because of Coach's personality and just taking it by minute, day by day, that Skyler comes in every day without feeling the pressure. But it's tough. Last year you had Cam, and Cam had the opportunity to usually get their best defenders. And this year I think she's handled it extremely well. She shoots the ball from, very long distance, very good rebounder, and again, a great leader for us.
Is there a little bit of a learning process there for a player like a Skyler, like you said, and you had Cam last year? She was getting all most of the attention, or some of the attention, or extra attention being paid to her. Now Skyler's that player that I'm keying in on. Does that add a little extra pressure, you think, or just a little bit of a learning period?
I think early on, I think she maybe felt a little bit of the pressure, because until you're in that, you really don't know how to handle it. And like I said, I think she's handled it extremely well. Again, she loves coming to practice every day. She likes being in the gym. She gets extra shots off. Like I said, just a pleasure. All these young ladies have been great to coach. I mean, we're really blessed. We have kids that don't give us attitudes. They come in every day. They work hard. They're coachable. They want to learn, and that's the reason why we're at. I know we're very talented, but I think the team chemistry is what allows us to win those games, especially those close games.
An invested group like that makes it a little bit easier for you guys, right?
I'm sorry?
So having an invested group like that, it makes it a little bit easier for you guys, right?
I mean, absolutely. I mean, I've had teams that had the most talent, but that doesn't mean we won championships. And it's usually the team that they get along off the court, they get along on the court, they trust each other on the court, they respect each other, and it just makes our job as coaches very easy to be able to come to practice every day knowing what you're going to get.
I want to ask about the play of Jensen Edwards. She's been great as long as she's been here, but I feel like she's really emerged. What have you seen in her growth this year?
I mean, I love that kid. She's the glue of our team. She does everything right. She probably doesn't get the recognition that she deserves, but she needs to be a first-team all-conference player. She's our second leading scorer, our second leading rebounder. She plays the best offensive player on the other team. Her assist-turnover ratio, I believe, is 2-to-1. She just makes right decisions all the time. She's in great shape. I saw that in her last year. I mean, she got injured a couple of times. But again, what a great young lady. She's the glue of our team, and I'm just so proud of her and how we've seen her grow over the last 12 months.
What are some things that you see her do as a coach that you love that maybe we don't get to see as fans?
That's a good one. She's not as quiet as you might see. On the court, she's very focused, but you've seen her a couple times when she's got an N1, the excitement that she has, and I think that pumps up the team. When they see Jensen getting excited, they get excited because it doesn't happen very often, but just a total team player, and we're all very blessed to be able to coach her and be part of her lives and see her grow, not just as a basketball player, but as a young lady.
You touched on it a little bit, but you guys do have great depth, you have great balanced scoring. Can you talk to us a little bit about that?
Yeah, we're really happy with the depth that we have. I think right now everybody understands and accepts their role, and I think that makes it really easy, for the coaching staff as well as Coach Banbury in her substitutions. Everybody has the green light to shoot the three. Everybody knows their role, and if someone gets in foul trouble, then they know the next person up is ready to go, and I think that's why we're going to probably go as deep as we're going to go this year because of our depth. Yes, we have two young ladies that are scoring 17 and 15 points, but at any time, anybody can score 20. I mean, Sydney's been playing great this year for us, Jordan at the point guard, and then young ladies off the bench. Lamani has done a great job coming off the bench defensively as well as getting to the basket. Courtney has come off the bench to give us great minutes at the backup point guard. And then Callie can shoot the three, if teams want to come out and play a zone. I mean, she's fantastic. So again, at any time we can play anybody, and we're very comfortable with that. There's no fear of putting anybody on the court.
You guys score well, but you also share the ball very well. You have Jordan Edwards, who Joe was telling me before the start, 13th in the country in assists.
Right.
So what can you say about her addition to the team and the way she facilitates?
Well, she's still learning the system. It's a very difficult system to learn. I'm not quite sure everybody still understands it. It usually takes about 3 or 4 years for everybody to understand the system, but I think she comes in every day, she watches tape every day, she puts the shots up every single day. She wants to learn and she wants to grow. And when you have her and Jensen both playing some point guard, with an assist turnover ratio of 2-to-1, as a coach, you got to be happy with that because their decisions are very well. She also is a good three-point shooter. Her defense is getting better, but just a coachable young lady that just wants to get better.
Okay, when you started, you said we're focused on Radford. Now I want to ask you about Radford. I know you don't want to give anything away. I know you don't even focusing on them this week as you get ready for them, but what are some things you and the Panthers are hoping to do well this week against them?
Well, Jamie's doing the scout right now, and she's going to do a fantastic job. But basically, again, it's about us. We really about us more than we do the opponent. I think some coaches spend way too much time on the opponents and not yourself. And I think Coach Banbury does a great job of that. With them, they run a lot of different sets, so we'll be defending them. They have two players. I'm better with numbers. Number 2 and number 14, who are the leading scorers. Number 2 is a 4 player who can shoot the 3, and then number 14 is one of their best guards. And so they can play man-to-man, they can play zone, he can go big and he can go small. They're very, very good at transition offense, so that's something that we're gonna have to work on, getting back and making sure that we're organized and we're communicating on that. So, but again, it still comes down to us. If we do what we're supposed to do and we control that, then it really doesn't matter what the opponents do. But we will be prepared for all their sets and all their actions like we normally are.
Any questions for Coach here as we get ready to let her go for practice?
Easy group, nice.
Easy group. You got one?
No question.
No notes. They got no notes.
No, no.
We're so proud of our team basketball.
Well, we appreciate that. And we appreciate that you guys are here supporting us. We wish that you guys could be at the games. That's really hard for the young ladies not to be able to see you guys and to see their parents. But people don't realize the sacrifices these young ladies have made this year. Basically, they go to school, they get tested, they go to class, and that's all they do. They don't go out. Our kids have been amazing this year, with COVID. But people have to understand that there's so many sacrifices they're making, and we really wish their parents could be there. So hopefully we make it to the tournament, and NC2A will give us some tickets so the parents can come out and support them. Because I know it's really been hard on our kids not to have their parents who have been at their games since they were in elementary school. But it is what it is, and we're very fortunate to be playing right now. And hopefully we can get the parents out there, hopefully in the postseason. But thank you.
You've done this before.
A few times.
You crushed it. Well, we'll keep you guys rolling. Thanks for coming.
All right,
Coach,
thank you, Kev.
Appreciate it. Jodi Kest, everybody.
Good afternoon.
Coach, how's it going?
Good, how are you?
Good. I have the schedule right here for you. Not that you don't know it, but
Right.
So, just in case, that's some extra notes. But first, I want to ask you. You guys won the league last year, and then went to the semifinals. Season comes to an end. You guys are getting ready for the spring, and then COVID happened. So just walk me through having to deal with everything you guys had to go through this year.
Yeah, it's been a long year for us. I mean, it feels like almost just a year ago. Funny thing is we were playing a spring game against Elon, and we're turning around, and our first game a year later is against Elon. So we were fortunate enough. I know there's a lot of other programs that weren't even able to get spring games in. So to be able to get 2 in under our belt before we had to leave was really nice to kind of see where we were at with our seniors graduating out. And so it was a good stepping stone, but obviously after that it was pretty difficult. Kids went home for spring break and never returned, and during that time that they were home, we were meeting with them often and at least a few times a week through Zoom, and trying to stay on top of them about just staying in shape. We didn't know what the season was going to be like, and so then had to put our summer workout packet together a little quicker than normal. So had to keep them rolling, and then summer-wise, they really stepped up and did their job and came in fit. We were here for about a week, only to find out we weren't having a season. They came into preseason on time, found out we didn't have a season, then kind of had to take it from there. It was difficult at first, but the players have been bought in and training hard since then. And then winter break, where they normally get their downtime, this year they had to amp it up because they knew we were going into a spring season. So it was a little difficult, a little different for them, but was really proud they came back more fit than they have in years past. We had some kids break their personal records on fitness testing, so we were really excited about getting started this spring.
Over the summer, I know you guys made an effort to really stay connected, as you said. So what are some things you guys did as a team to make sure everyone's staying informed and knows your guys' systems and everything, but also that everyone's just doing okay?
Yeah, we spent the time, we revamped our game model. Our coaching staff worked on it, and then once we revamped it, we took the players through it. We created a statistical analysis program that we just created ourselves that kind of shows what our game model is and who we are, and we took the players through that. So a lot of Zoom meetings. Sometimes those Zoom meetings would be broken up with our leadership group, just having separate meetings with them, and then we also have families within the team. So there's 6 families, and each family has a leader, and that family, was in charge each week. They would meet, and they were required to do 30 minutes of something. So it could be, just having lunch and talking about their lunch, or they could do a game review, or just have conversation. It didn't matter, but we just tried to keep them connected as possible, and we started incorporating the freshmen. Once they were allowed through NCAA guidelines, they could join those meetings, and so that was exciting just to get them interacting with everybody else as well.
When you guys were able to get back to campus this fall, even though we didn't have games this fall, and then we saw what the spring was going to be like, what were some things you guys were doing in training to keep everybody engaged so they were ready to go when it came to what's going to be this weekend?
Yeah, our slogan that we came up with for this year is "Make it count," and we came up with that at the beginning of the, little towards the end of the spring, going into the summer, just knowing whatever was coming our way and any opportunity that we had to train, we were always going to make it count because we didn't know when we were going to be told that we couldn't train or we wouldn't have games. So when the news came out that we weren't going to have a season, we just reminded them of, that we have to make every moment count. There's going to be a season at some point, and so every training session we have to treat it as if it's going to be our last training session to really make it valuable for each of them. So some days, some weeks were hard for them to continue pushing through. They're beating up on each other instead of other players, and so it definitely made things a little more difficult, but they pushed through and I think really took a hold of that make it count opportunity, and now they're excited to finally be playing a game this spring.
I want to start asking some questions related back to personnel on your team, but I know you guys are excited because you have a lot of depth on the team this year. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah, we're really excited. Our front line, I mean, it's really difficult picking a starting lineup in our front line. There is a lot of depth there for, I think, the biggest amount of depth that we've had in a while. There's 5 players that I think can easily start for us in our front line, and we have to pick 3 of them. So it's really difficult, but it's also really exciting, and I think, it's going to be difficult for other teams to be able to have to deal with that. If you're dealing with those 3 on the front line and then you have 2 more coming into the game and you got to stop them, it's going to be difficult, and I'm excited to see that mentality and what they bring. I think that's where our most depth is right now. On the front line is definitely our most depth. We have some depth in our other positions as well, but I would say that is the most competitive group that we have that are competing for starting opportunities in that group.
And at training, that group knows. I mean, does that group know that there's competition? Do you see they're really trying to make a statement that they deserve to be in the starting? Oh yeah, for sure. I mean, it's every day is a competition with them. I mean, it is. And it's bringing out the best of them. Like Skyler Kerr, freshman of the week or freshman of the year 2 years ago, is returning, has not finished the season for us. My hope is she finishes a season this year for us. We have returning freshman of the year and Sam Gerhardt, and they are going at it every day, which is just making them better, which is making the gap even bigger and making it more exciting for them to face other teams because they're constantly competing against each other. So they're bringing out the best in each other. And it's the same thing in our winger position, heavy competition there. So the level of their play just keeps rising because they know every opportunity counts for them. I think I know what you're going to say to this as well, but about, it only matters what you do with the season, but preseason, you guys are picked number 1. What can you say about that?
Yeah, just, we're excited that we have that opportunity, but it obviously puts a target on our back, and we know that. I think it just puts more of our mindset of, we have to come out, make sure we're prepared, and we can't just rely on that. We have to prove ourselves. We have to prove all the work that we've been putting in for the last year. And so it's exciting to get that, but I think the girls, once the excitement wore off, were like, oh man, we got a target on our back now. We really got to make sure that we step up. So I think they're excited, but they're, at the same time, they feel prepared, but it makes them a little nervous, Our job is to make sure that they feel prepared enough that those nerves don't come into play for them. So we're happy about it, but we feel like when everybody plays us in the conference, it's their World Cup. If they win it, you see them celebrate as if they won a championship. That's how exciting it is for them. So we know those moments. We've seen them. We've lived through them. I think we have some experience here now that can talk about that and is prepared for that.
But you guys are used to the bull side a little bit, right? You've been here for a long time. And do you have your teams kind of embrace that?
Yeah, we do. I mean, we talk about embracing it, really embracing the journey. And, what I love more than anything is that we didn't have an attacking player of the year and a defensive player of the year that was picked, but that's just not who we are as a program. Our program does not rely on one player being the star. The way we play our game model does not depend on one player showing up and playing their best game. We depend on our group as a group all together, working together. We have, like I said, our game model that we go by. You can see it in our play. So that's what's exciting about our front line. If they think they can stop Skyler, then they gotta think about Sam Gerhardt. And if they think they're picking up Sam Gerhardt, well, now they gotta think about Salome. And if they're thinking about Salome, then now they gotta pick up Magda. So I'm excited. I'm excited to see them bring out the best of our group and see what happens.
You're ready to go.
We're ready to go. We're ready to go.
Some names you just mentioned, I want to ask you about some of the European players you have on the team. You've had Juliette and Chloe on the team from France who have just been outstanding since they've come to High Point. And then you had another French player in Salome Pratt, a transfer, and Magdalena Schwartz from Louisiana Tech from Germany. And Salome and Magdalena both with European Academy experience. So what is their additions with your team?
Their additions have been phenomenal. You know, they just really fit more of the game model that we have, and they kind of slow things down a little bit, and they have an understanding of really how to play the game, just being at the academy, the European style, the way they teach it. It was a very good and easy, smooth transition for them coming into the program. So they picked up on things pretty quickly. So it's been exciting, and then just to have the players around them, I think that's been more of building those relationships because of the language barrier a little bit. But you can see they're putting in so much effort to try to create those relationships, which has been great. But just the addition is just a different brand of soccer, and I think it opens up the other players' eyes to seeing things in a different light and have a true appreciation for actually how you play the game.
And you kind of mentioned it, but they've really been embraced by the team, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Talk to us. Let's turn the lights off there. Hold on. Are we back? We're back. We're back, baby. All right. I'm having a rough go today. That's a sign for me to shut up. Can you tell us a little bit about the schedule? I know you guys have kind of had your hands full with this, with only being able to schedule one non-conference game and then a full Big South slate, but you have Elon this weekend, and you guys are ready to go. Talk to us about the schedule a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, we're excited about Elon because I think one of the great things about what Elon does is it exposes our weaknesses, honestly. They play a very defensive, counterattacking, so they're going to sit in, soak up the middle of the field, and try to force us to play around them, which is going to be difficult in breaking them down. But then, the next, basically they want to create counterattack situations. It's 1-2 passes, try to find a player in behind. So that's the difficult part for us, but like I said, that's the challenge that we need, our weaknesses that we need to fix. They are going to bring that. So we're excited about them being our very first game. After that, obviously, we head into conference. After that, we head into. Yeah, so after that, we head into conference play. We have Winthrop up first. And honestly, the schedule's pretty spread out as far as like some of what I believe are going to be the top teams in the group. So we have some opportunities that we get to kind of work on some things and have an opportunity right away. Campbell, I think, is a big one that we have that's 2 games in, but we're excited about to see what they have to bring. They're always one of the top ones in the group, so it should be a good year. We're okay with the schedule. I mean, it's not ideal not having more games, non-conference games to prepare. Playing against yourself is totally different than playing against some of these teams. So I think having this schedule is the best we can do. We're going to make it count no matter what.
You're going to make the best of it.
We are.
Kind of like you made the best of this. The mic's going out. You're playing through the contact. Yeah. I love it. It's great. Any questions for Coach here before we let her go? You did such a good job. No one's got any questions for you, but
no questions.
Coach, thank you. Good luck this weekend.
Thank you. Thank you.
Good afternoon. I see everybody here. Can we keep a mask on?
Yeah, we will.
Yeah. All right. We missed everybody. Good to be back here to see all the friendly faces. We've been on the road a couple, for the last few games. So, but we've been okay. Other than yesterday, we were playing all right. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, you're good. Yeah, like I said, we have.
We finally got Kevin back. He was the key to us winning.
That's three in a row. Yeah.
After you came back.
Yeah, I don't know what happened last night.
I know what happened. You. But we needed somebody that could make a shot and defend. We've been okay. But I'm really proud of how kids have competed the last few games. Coming off of, we were coming off being quarantined for a while and missed 4 games, but getting the wins down at Gardner-Webb was good for us. But obviously we've had trouble, validating that first win. We did it 3 times now. We beat, Upstate the first game and lost the second game. We beat Presbyterian the first game, didn't validate that win. We beat Hampton. Well, we did it against Gardner-Webb. We validated that first night, that first win, and the second win. Then yesterday, I don't know, we were up 16. It was a tough go of it. But Hampton's a pretty talented team.
They are, and I'll say one thing that kind of gets, people maybe miss because they're not going to the games, but it's still hard to play on the road. I know there's not any fans in there sometimes, but sometimes there's a handful of guests or whatever. It's not easy. So winning 3 out of the 4 was pretty good. But yeah, let's talk about the first Hampton game on Sunday. You guys pull out the win with 60 rebounds in the game, and that was a record for our program. Most rebounds in a single game when we played a D1 opponent. And so actually the 5th most in the country.
This year? Right?
Yeah, this year. Number 1 is Georgia Tech, who did against Georgia Southern with 70, or Georgia State, sorry. But yeah, 60 boards, and you guys were able to win. Talk to me about the mentality on the boards.
Well, it was something we worked hard on because we hadn't out-rebounded anyone in a while. That's something we've done. My teams have always rebounded well, but we bounced back and had a good rebounding game against Gardner-Webb. Barely, I think we won the rebounding total. We were plus in those 2 games, and then we were plus in the just well, we beat them by 30-some rebounds. We had 30-some defensive and 28, 32 and 38 and 28. So it was a great rebounding game. We needed a few more last night, even though we out rebounded by 9 last night. I mean, it's just tough when we out rebounded. We outscored them in the paint, 30-26. We outscored them off offensive rebounding. The turnovers, we outscored them. Second chance points, 15-2. Off the bench, we had 23-8. You would think we'd win that game.
Right.
But, obviously they got hot during that stretch, but we couldn't make a shot. This is 4 games in a row now. We haven't been able to. And I don't know how we won the 2 games against Gardner-Webb because we shot poorly there. We've shot poorly in 4 straight games, so I don't know. I've had a talk with our shooting coach. That was a self-talk. I wanted to fire him, but I let him. I'm gonna let him coach another game and see if he can change his ways.
He's in the hot seat.
Yeah, he's in the hot seat, boy, and I'm burning up. But no, I've been happy with the way our kids have responded because I'm just proud of all. You imagine these teams that have to play during this pandemic. I'm more impressed than ever with our young people, with the youth of today, because I don't know how I would handle it or how any of us would handle having to have to, swab up your nose every 2 days. Then you have to be quarantined. We can't eat together. We go on the road, they've got to come get their meals, take it back to the room. We've got designated seats on the buses. You can't, even the coaches on the sideline, we wave at each other, we really don't get a chance to talk. It's an interesting time, but I'm really happy and really, not happy, but I'm proud of the way our players have responded. I mean, not men's, women, all the sports here at High Point, we probably done it as well as anybody, any conference, up until this week. The Big South we had gotten in more games played. We had less games, I guess, canceled or postponed because of COVID than any other conference in the country. But the last few days have been rough. And that's what they said. It's going to be about 4 to 6 weeks into school. After kids have returned, we're going to have some coaches. Their coach, Dan Hauser, he told us in a coaching meeting that be careful. And so that's something we have to be careful of. I was just listening to the radio today coming in, and they're talking about North Carolina. They had a big party after they beat Duke, and a bunch of the Carolina players were there. So the president is talking about suspending some of the kids that were there because it could be a super spreader. So the Carolina may lose a couple players, just because they, but that's what they do, and so you have to be careful. Go ahead. I'm sorry. I'm going off on a tangent.
No, it's all right. But I just wanted to follow up on something you said. We talk about the sacrifice that the kids have to make. Sunday, for example, they couldn't even all get together to watch the Super Bowl. They had to go into individual rooms, just watch your roommate.
Yeah, we got them chicken wings. Usually we have them over my house.
Yeah.
No, we didn't do it last year. Yeah, I think because the pandemic had already hit. I don't think we had it, but every year we've had players over for tournament. When we have Super Bowls, I don't care anything. That's a time to fellowship and build some camaraderie. So, but that's something I'm really happy that our guys are handling the way they're handling. We've had a couple of players. I guess we suspended a player, but he'll be back. I think we'll be able to see Eric back. Some off-court issues, but he hasn't played in the last few games. And then we've got Rob Peterson is back after having surgery on his knee. We probably should have had him in there some last night, but he's still not himself yet. He just came back last week. And that was his first game against Hampton to be dressed out for. So we're getting healthy at the right time. So I'm looking forward to a tough Charleston team. They always play us tough. They're probably one of the hardest playing teams in the league. I know they've struggled all year long, but we've got to get ready for them on Thursday.
Yeah, we know what their record is, but they always play well against us.
Yes.
So.
Well, a lot of people have lately, but we're going to change that just like last night. You would think with a 16-point lead with 15 minutes to go in the game, we seem to have things under control. But we had a couple of lapses there defensively, and they knocked down a couple of three. In fact, kid number 22 came in the game. He hadn't scored all year. Elijah Stewart goes 2 for 2 from threes. But that's what can happen if you're not on top of your game defensively. And we had some breakdowns in transition on our transition defense and in our half-court defense, because that's how we've been winning. It's not because we're outscoring people, but we're really doing a great job defensively. And then last night, even after holding Hampton to 25% in the first half and 25 from twos and 28 from threes, they came out and shot 65% from the floor and 58%. So we had a major breakdown, but we'll get it right.
I saw a stat the other day that we're one of the top teams in the country when it comes to getting to the free throw line.
Yeah.
We do a really good job of earning free throws. Is that a point of emphasis for you guys?
Oh yeah. Well, we really don't have that outside threat other than John Michael Wright. We really don't. I was happy to see Jaden House, step up. I've been on him. If I could just get him to think about defense. I don't want him to play it right now. I just want him to think about playing defense. It's not even a thought. But he's getting there. He can really play. He's got a great body. And I tell him, I said, look, you gotta use that body and your athleticism. So I've got to get him playing like Emil Flowers does. Emil, he struggled last night. He got clobbered going to the basket, rinsed his back. So that hurt us down the stretch because he was stiff the rest of the game, and that happened early in the second half. But Hampton, they're the most talented team we've played this year. I don't think it's even close. Now, we haven't played Winthrop and Radford, but Hampton was bigger than us, more physical than us in every position. So, and we've had to overcome that. That's something that we're having a challenge right now. But we've got some guys in the wings, like Zach Austin's going to be an outstanding player. He's a guy 6'6", 6'7", and he's probably our best all-around player. But he set out this year, but he's a guy that will help us a lot next year and should be a starter in our program for the next 3 or 4 years. And along with the young players we're starting, Alex Holt, the way he's playing, he's a kid that missed 38 days because of COVID. 38 days.
Just getting contact traced, right?
Yeah, he contact traced twice and then he had it.
I know that game.
Yeah, you've been there. So he's starting to come around. I can't, but you mentioned getting to the free throw line. That's something we didn't do a good job of last night. Now, they had a great shot blocker in Dickens, and it really creates a problem for Caden Sanchez and, Manny Zunabor inside, and even Alex, and even Lydell. So they're our biggest players, but they were really challenged at the rim all night long. But they've got to find a way to get fouled and get to the free throw line, because that's what we do best.
Let's talk about the spark of House off the bench yesterday, providing double-digit points. He scored about 11 points in like 5 minutes yesterday. Is that what you're hoping to get from him for the rest of the year? I mean, that was a great help yesterday.
He's not going to shoot like that every game, but he can play defense every second the right way. And when he doesn't play with the defensive intensity, he's just another player out there on the court. In fact, he's talented. Athletically, he's a better outside shooter than the only player we probably, looking back on the game, I should have, I need to get, I keep saying should have, but Bryson Childress is our best three-point shooter. He hasn't gotten a lot of playing time lately because teams have been very physical with him. And what happens is, after you play so many games, your opponent has a scouting report on you. And they're going to take away your strengths. And so one of the problems we have is that we're not very physical, as far as imposing. And certainly, Bryson is probably the least physical. And so he has a problem when they start banging him and really pressuring him. But we needed outside scoring last night and outside shooting. So he'll see a little more playing time because Denny struggled yesterday. He struggled the last 3 or 4 games. I think he's 2 for 14 in the last 4 games from threes. And that's something that he does. I mean, without him making threes, with John Michael Wright being the focal point of the opposing team's defense every time down the court, he's carrying us and doing all he can. He kept us in it yesterday. But we need to get more outside shooting. Emil is not really a three-point threat, but he's capable of it. So we need to if we can get Jaden continue to shoot like he's shooting, get Bryson more shots, get Denny and Emil improve on his outside shooting, we're gonna be a tough team.
Since we last talked, Emil Flowers has been playing well. He was a SportsCenter #1 play since you've been here. But what can you say about that young man on your team? And I know you told me he has one of the highest IQs you've ever coached.
Oh, yes, he does. He understands the game, and he plays at a level of intensity that you can't teach. He's usually he's the least corrected player on our team. You know what I mean? You got to constantly remind players to be in the right spot defensively. And I tell them, you're a much better athlete when you're in the right space, when you're in the right spot. And that's pretty much what athletics is. If all the coaches here know, if you execute the fundamentals, and all of us know it, and you do it consistently, and he does it probably better than anybody else on the team. I mean, if you come to our practice, I don't know if but by that I mean he's going to be the least guy I'm going to say or have to correct in a practice or a game.
Any questions here for Coach Smith as we wrap up?
Yes, we got Charleston Southern coming up. What kind of team do they have?
So the question was, what kind of team does Charleston Southern have?
Well, Charleston Southern is a team that's really, I don't think they've won a game in the league yet, have they?
They have not.
They have not. So they're really struggling. They're like, but they've coach there, his teams always play hard. And they're a motion offensive team. He's a descendant of Eddie Fogler, who was a Dean Smith descendant, protege. So his team, they beat us here last year. Big shot, he's back. One of the top players.
Fleming.
Flemings, who's one of the top players in the league. just like yesterday, we had to play against the number 1 scorer in the league, the number 1 shot blocker in the league and in the country.
Warren Dickens.
Yeah, Warren Dickens. And so now we've got to get ready for Flemings because he beat us on the last second shot here last year. And he's a hard matchup. When those guys are 6'5", 6'6", the kid Warren was a senior, Fleming is a senior. So now those guys are experienced players. So we're going to have to play much better defensively than we did during that stretch, than we did in the second half. And we practiced this morning at 9:30 after getting back about 12 o'clock last night. So we got in about an hour and a half of, you can imagine what we worked on, shooting. And so we've got to get better there.
We'll be happy if you do like the girls, win both of the games.
Oh, that would help. That would help if we could. I just want to win the first game, and that's what we. What has happened with the last few games? We've been a little more. I've been a little more demonstrative in getting in them and making them, being more vocal on the sideline. But a lot of it has to do with. I'm feeling a lot better. When you deal with COVID, and we contracted it, and it's tough. It kind of wears you out a little bit. I didn't think I really had many of the symptoms, but I could tell I was fatigued. So now I'm a lot better, a lot more feisty right now.
You're in mid-season form.
Yeah, I'm getting there, man.
We had a question in the back. Yes, sir.
Coach, good afternoon. Thanks for coming.
Thank you.
I have a question about keeping a team focused. In any given year, it's hard to keep them focused for 40 minutes. Dealing with a pandemic and dealing with a game that has an interruption anyway every 4 minutes for immediate time. How do you try and keep them focused? What is the value of having an on-court leader?
On-court leader? Well, that's what we're trying to. We've still been sort of, we have Denny Slay is our only senior on the team. So he's been here for 4 years now. And so has Caden, but he sat out a year. Caden Sanchez. You would hope they would be the guys but Denny is more of a, aloof, kind of loosey-goosey type guy, and I'm more of a serious-minded guy. And so to be a leader, you've got to be pretty much serious-minded. And you've got to be focused every practice. So we're still shaping and molding and finding our identity. We're close, rebounding, pounding the ball inside, defending like crazy, getting the stops, and we've been doing a good job in that up until the second half. But the leader's got to be me, and that's what I'm talking. We've played well the last few games because I've been my old self. And what happens is players pick up on it. It's kind of like your children. You don't correct them one time, and next thing you know, they do it again. Behind your back, they're doing something. I know growing up in a household with parents, with my mom and dad, he said, boy, if I catch you lying, or if he heard, I think I may have told this story. It was 17 of us. So we playing kickball, dodgeball, or whatever we're playing. And if somebody said, Tubby's cheating, he beat everybody. He beat everybody. So that's the way it has to be in sports. They have to be accountable. Because last night, Brian Randman doesn't contest a shot. They make a 3. We don't box out. We don't trap like we're supposed to. Alex Holt, he misses the trap, doesn't jump to get the ball, they get it back. Now they're up 4. So what I'm saying is that you kind of, if you're not careful, they would assume that it's okay to not be in the right spot, to not box out, to not hit the open man, to not set the proper screen. So it's like so you said mid-season form, usually what I do this time of year is go back to the fundamentals because there's game slippage. So teams, opponents are now scouted you, so they're, like last night, they did a good job, Hampton did a good job of switching. So now you got to be a little more patient. The guy with the ball's got to be patient offensively, find the open man, and not just be robots. So now you got to think a little bit on the court. And that's what's going to happen against Charleston, because they do a good job of switching also. And that forces you to have to, make the extra pass, really set the screen and slip or open to the ball. So and people throw different defenses at you this time of the year. I mean, for instance, John Michael Wright, they're going to switch and deny. He's got to learn to use the screens better, something he has trouble with. Last night we tried to screen for him, but he went 6 feet from the screen. He didn't. But that's, again, he's still young, and he's putting out. He's a lot of energy. He got in foul trouble there last night. But that's what you have to do to get better. Thank you.
All right, well, thanks everybody for coming. Did you have one?
One.
Okay.
Okay.
On Flowers, he was so great that one game shooting threes, but it seems like he passes up open threes.
Well, that's what I told him last night. I said, son, you're making, like last night, what happens is when he shoots poorly, when he misses that first three or something, and his problem is with his arch, getting the ball up. He needs to get his elbow up, and when he shoots it flat, he has a tough time. So then he'll get in his head. But last night, he missed a couple of short jumpers, shot fake, got into the lane. But that, again, he got hammered early in the second half, and he just wasn't himself. He laid on the floor for a long time. Josh Jerusalem, great trainer, got him back up and got him going. He raised Lazarus, he raised him from and so we got him going again. So, but I want to compliment our walk-ons. I tell you, they've been a big part of our improvement, because those guys don't get in the game, but every day when we put them in the pennies and the green or yellow jerseys, they get after our guys extremely well. And I can't say enough about how hard they've been working in practice and in the classroom. Guys like John Michael Hughes and AJ and Zach, and Nate and Ryan. Caleb, one of our players who's really been working, he's in quarantine now because he was contact traced by his roommate. So he hasn't been in practice for about 10, 12 days. But otherwise, the kids I've been pleased with how our walk-ons have stepped up. And so I want to really compliment them while we're here. Anything else? Any other questions? Any answers?
Good help coming next year?
Pardon me?
You got good help coming next year?
Absolutely. We have a kid coming that's Brock Williams, leading scorer in the state. He had 50 twice this year. He's at the Burlington School, about 6'2", point guard, shooting guard. And that's what we struggle with, because Brian Randall is a good player, but, he's a good outside shooter, but we play indoors. Unfortunately, we play indoors. But he's getting better. But he's a guy that if we had somebody that, and that's why a guy like Bryson Childress is probably needed, because now they have to stay out of him, and they don't, they won't have to sag back and help on John Michael or in our post players as much as they do right now. So, what's your question again? You asked?
Good help coming.
Yes. And then we have a kid, Jake Coverman, from Southern High School in Maryland. He's about 6'5", can really stroke the ball. So we were two good scorers, and that's what we need, two guys that can make the outside shot. Although I mentioned Zach Austin, who'll be eligible next year. He's probably our best outside shooter right now on the team that's not playing. And so that hurts us this year, because he was a guy that would help us. I mean, he gives us something that only John Michael can do well, and that's get his own shot.
Hopefully we'll have fans in the stands.
Well, that's the this is tough, but you know we all have to deal with this. Everybody have your shots yet? And your vaccine?
Oh my gosh.
Huh? Come on, man.
These two right here.
Got to get your vaccine. I'm up for it next week again, a couple weeks. So, in fact, we're going to be doing a PSA with the North Carolina Health Department. Yeah, pretty soon.
So thanks everybody for coming out. Thanks for wearing your masks, and we wish we could see you at Charleston Southern or at home at Charleston Southern, but cheer us from home, and then good luck, Coach.
Hey, thanks a lot, everybody. Be safe. Stay healthy.
We want to thank Segra again and Sweet Old Bills for having us. One thing I forgot to mention, when Jodi was up here, ask and join the 3-Point Club, and we'll see you next time. Thanks, guys. Appreciate it.
All right, good luck, everybody.